Attention passionate Seattle, SEAHAWKS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle, SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Hold tight because what's happening behind the scenes in the NFL right now is nothing short of explosive, especially for us Seahawks fans. The whispers in league circles are growing louder, and what they're pointing to could be a game changer not just for the Seahawks, but for the entire NFC West. Sources close to the league, including the legendary Adam Schefter, are murmuring about a blockbuster trade involving the Seahawks and the New York Jets. And trust me, this isn't just some rumor. It's a strategic move that could reshape the division, strengthen Seattle's defense, and send shockwaves through the playoff picture. So, what's the big deal? Well, it's all about defense, elite cornerbacks, and a rebuilding Jets team that's eyeing the future while the Seahawks aim for another deep playoff run. Right now, the Seahawks find themselves in a pretty interesting position. They're 4-2 in the NFC West, which on paper looks decent, but if you dig deeper, their secondary has been a bit of a concern. Julian Love, who's been instrumental for Seattle, went down in Week 5 with a hamstring injury and is expected to be out for about 4 weeks. Tariq Woolen, our lockdown corner, suffered a concussion, and his status remains uncertain, with his return date still undetermined. Witherspoon, another key piece, is questionable due to a shoulder injury. These injuries have put a strain on our secondary, and it's clear the Seahawks are looking to bolster that unit, especially considering the high-powered offenses they face week after week. The plan? Well, it seems they're eyeing a move for a player that's been making waves in the league, Sauce Gardner of the Jets. Now, before I get into all the details of this potential blockbuster, I want you to pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. The Seahawks are reportedly exploring a trade for Sauce Gardner, one of the most dominant young cornerbacks in the league right now. And you might be thinking, wow, that's a bold move. But when you look at the current state of the Jets, it starts to make sense. The Jets, after starting the season 0-6, are in a rebuild mode. They're trading away some of their key players to accumulate draft picks, and Gardner, who's scheduled to make around $11 million this season, is on the block. The package? Well, reports suggest the Seahawks are willing to send their 2026 first-round pick plus cornerback Nehemiah Pritchett to New York. That's a significant investment, but one that could pay off big time, especially considering Gardner's elite status and the impact he could have on our secondary. Gardner, who's been an All-Pro selection from 2022 through 2024, is having a standout season in 2025. He's already snagged 5 interceptions, has 32 passes defensed in just 6 games, and boasts an incredible PFF grade of 92. 3. Top among all cornerbacks this year. His ability to cover elite receivers is unmatched, allowing only 49% completion when targeted, and he has a -0. 21 EPA per target, which is outstanding. His career stats include 11 interceptions, 55 passes defensed, and an impressive 10 yards allowed per separation. Gardner's strength lies in his press coverage, where he's successful 74% of the time in jam success, and his injury history is minimal. No injuries in 2025, although he did deal with a hip issue in 2024 that limited him to 14 games. His stats and film show a player who's not just good but game-changing, with a projected plus 24% boost to Seattle's pass defense. On the other side, the Jets aren't just giving up Gardner for free, they're being very strategic. With a cap space of around $12 million, they're focused on extending players like Quinnen Williams and building their offensive line, which is leaking sacks at a rate of about 5.2 per game. They're also trying to compete in a division that's tough, with teams like the Bills and Dolphins showing offensive firepower. So, trading Gardner for a rookie like Pritchett, whose PFF rated at 69.4 and a future first-round pick makes sense for them. They're trying to prioritize draft capital and rebuild from the ground up. But for the Seahawks, this is an absolute win because it addresses one of our biggest needs: elite cornerback play that can elevate the entire defense. Now, let's talk about what Gardner's addition could mean for Seattle. Imagine him lining up as an island defender, shutting down top receivers and forcing quarterbacks to think twice before throwing his way. His presence alone could reduce the number of touchdowns allowed per pass from around 2-3 to nearly half that number, potentially shaving off a significant chunk of yards per game, say from 210 to 152. That's a huge difference in the NFC West, where every yard and every turnover counts. His ability to create turnovers, his career interception rate of 2.8 yards per target, could push our defense into a different stratosphere, especially with Tariq Woolen returning from injury. Woolen has shown flashes of elite play, and together, these two could form a lockdown duo that opponents will fear. In fact, Gardner's addition is projected to give Seattle a +1. 7 passes defensed per game boost, similar to what Jalen Ramsey brought to Miami last season. His coverage grade is +2, one higher than our current Seahawks cornerbacks, and he's allowed 17% less yards after catch, meaning he's not just defending well on the line but also limiting yards after the catch, which is crucial in today's NFL. For Geno Smith, having this kind of shutdown corner could open up the field, reduce checkdowns, and increase deep ball attempts, something that could boost his QBR and overall efficiency. It's a move that could turn our defense into true championship contenders, especially as we look ahead to the postseason. And speaking of the big picture, the odds for the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl have already shifted. According to BetMGM, they jumped from +3,500 to +1,500 after the news of this potential trade. That's a huge swing, and it shows how much faith the betting markets are putting into the Seahawks' chances if they can land Gardner. His presence would serve as a neutralizer against top-tier wide receivers in the playoffs, players like Diggs or Adams, making our defense not just good but elite. This isn't just about adding a player. It's about transforming the entire team's outlook, giving Geno Smith a real shot at leading us deep into the postseason, possibly to another Super Bowl appearance. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the other side. What are the Jets doing, and why are they willing to part with Gardner? Well, with a cap situation of just $12 million, they're heavily focused on extending Quinnen Williams, who's been a disruptive force on their defensive line. They're also prioritizing fixing their offensive line, which has been allowing an average of 5.2 sacks per game. That's a lot of pressure on Zach Wilson and whoever lines up under center. The Jets are in a tough spot. They're trying to rebuild, but they're also trying to remain competitive. Trading away a top corner like Gardner for future picks and a rookie might seem like a gamble, but it's part of a broader strategy to reshape their roster. They're aiming for a long-term rebuild, and acquiring draft capital now makes sense, especially with the NFL trade deadline approaching on November 4th. Will they pull the trigger? Well, the rumors suggest that the deal is very close, and it might just be the move that defines both franchises' futures for years to come. Now, let's take a step back and analyze what this move means for the NFC West and the entire playoff landscape. The Seahawks, with Gardner, would become a much more formidable team, especially defensively. With Woolen returning, the duo of Woolen and Gardner could be one of the best cornerback tandems in the league, capable of shutting down top offenses and forcing turnovers. Their combined skills could turn Seattle into a team that's not only tough to pass against, but also capable of creating game-changing plays. The impact on the division standings could be significant. The 49ers, Rams, and Cardinals will have to take notice because a Seahawks defense with Gardner could be the difference maker in tight games. And let's not forget the historical context. The Seahawks have built a reputation over the years for having a tough, physical defense, especially during the Legion of Boom era. While that chapter is a bit in the past, this potential trade could be a step toward recreating that identity. Adding a player like Gardner, who's already proven he can dominate against top receivers, fits perfectly into the Seahawks' blueprint of building a championship-caliber team. This move could ignite a new era of Seahawks football, one where defense and physicality reign supreme, and where every game is played with the mindset of winning now and building for the future. Looking ahead, if the Seahawks manage to pull off this trade, the ripple effects will be felt throughout the league. The betting odds will continue to shift, and teams will have to prepare differently for Seattle's offense and defense. Geno Smith will have a new level of confidence, knowing he has a lockdown corner like Gardner behind him. The division rivals will be watching closely, trying to figure out how to counter this new, aggressive Seahawks squad. Meanwhile, the Jets will be looking to maximize their draft picks, focusing on rebuilding their offensive line and finding the next pieces to help Zach Wilson develop. It's a fascinating chess match unfolding right before our eyes, and you can be sure that Seahawks fans, in particular, should be ecstatic about the potential of adding a player of Gardner's caliber. So, as we approach the NFL trade deadline on November 4th, keep your eyes peeled. This could be one of the most impactful moves of the season, and it might just be the one that propels the Seahawks back into Super Bowl contention. Remember, the NFL is a league of moments, and sometimes one trade can change everything. For us Seahawks fans, this is a story worth following closely because the stakes couldn't be higher. We're on the edge of something big, and I promise I'll keep you updated every step of the way. Whether it's official confirmation or just more rumors swirling around, one thing is for sure: Seattle is making moves and they're aiming for greatness once again. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and the Seattle Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seattle Seahawks news.